Matt, a really positive day, but for the supporters also an emotional day. First things first, we send our love to Sam's family, and that win was certainly for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Always difficult because obviously that family and the personnel involved have been through a lot this week, and it was honoured in the right way in terms of the applause on the 29th minute, and great we were able to stop the game for that moment, because that's a fair reflection on what we are as a football club. And then in terms of performance, that was Exeter City probably our best. I actually liked us more against 11 men. We know how difficult it is to go, because we've been down to 10 men and 9 men at certain times, and sometimes you overcomplicate your game. So my biggest pleasing aspect of today was our performance against 11 men.
2 goals, almost carbon copy goals really, but let's talk about the second one, because Czech Diabate, I'm sure that means so much to a lot of people at the football club, not just him.
Yeah, absolutely. An academy product playing well, and adding a goal to his game. It's incredible because their goalkeeper was man of a match by an absolute distance, to be honest with you. How he kept them in the game for longer than what it was incredible to witness, because he made some fantastic saves. And for all our good play, we didn't get that ball in the back of the net. So in terms of the 2 set pieces, important timings, important moments in both halves, but important we've also got a threat in relation to our set piece play, because we do get teams deep, we do put teams on the back foot, we do get a lot of field position and then set pieces off the back of it. And if we can become a bigger threat from corners and those moments, then we'll have a better output in terms of our attacking play. So Tim Diang's done that all season, and great that Czech's come into the team performing well and added a goal to it.
Almost a perfect start from Zanzala's. I don't know how the keeper kept it out, but then Oz picked up rather than a not.
It's a worrying injury. No, it's a worrying injury. He came off early. He had that chance, and the keeper made almost that double save, and then he's jarred his knee. So that doesn't sound great, in all honesty. A real shame, because we missed his physical play at the top of the pitch. We'll miss him depending on how long he's out for. It puts more pressure on that front line, which we added him in to supplement and to help out a little bit. So it's a disappointing aspect of the game, but injuries happen, and we've got to be good enough and strong enough and wise enough to then fill gaps where we need to, and keep creating a good attacking team.
I thought it was quite a patient performance from the lads out there today, especially when Walsall went down to 10 men. Yes,
but we also didn't play forward enough. And I'm not saying deliver the ball forward in the air, I'm just saying move the ball forward on the ground. There was space to utilise. Sometimes if an easy option is backwards and sideways, then you take it because you don't want to give the ball away, but we still needed to force them to sort of commit bodies into certain areas of the pitch to open up other areas of the pitch. So that's a good learning one for the group, because we will, we'll come up against that again this season, more than likely. And we know that when we've been down to 10 men or 9 men, teams that really shift us to a certain area and then bang it out the other side and then utilise the space they've earned hurt us the most. And we didn't quite do that enough in that second half. But having said that, the keeper still made a few outstanding saves.
Another clean sheet, Cam Dawson, and the defence, another game where Cam had little to do.
Yeah, like I say, it's better for me to judge it against the opposition whenever we had 11 men. Rarely troubled, just certain moments which we had to defend well, but we've got good enough defenders who are now seeming to catch a little bit of form. Czech's physicality adds something, Stubbsy coming back in the team has added something, and Pearce is starting to find his rhythm and speed in his game again. So pleased, because that's 3 out of the last 4 league games we've kept clean sheets in, and that's something we didn't do enough in the period up until Christmas. So that's another positive, and a 2-0 scoreline looks relatively convincing. It's just a shame that we've lost, Aussie.
As a central defender yourself, I imagine the manner of both goals was really pleasing as well.
Yes, look, ball in the middle of the goal in terms of the delivery, but a good delivery with a bit of pace to stop the keeper from coming. Everyone doing their jobs, committing to their runs, and going with a bit of conviction. Czech did it in the second half, and Tim did it in the first half, and Stubbsy can do it, and Pearce can do it more. We've got players who should do that, and should utilise that as a real threat for us. So really pleased, and that's down to Wayne Carlisle and the coaching staff. I can't take any credit in relation to our set piece setup, so they need full credit in relation to that. And there's different ways to skin a cat and to score a goal, and set pieces is going to be big for us. I want bodies to go and attack that ball.
Let's talk about Tim Diang again. We spoke before he signed for the club. His record season was 4. He's now on 8. He just seems like the perfect signing at the right time.
Craig, how many players have their record goal scoring seasons with ourselves? It's no surprise. Ryan Bowman, probably Sam Nombe when he's fit, MJ, Joe Randall, Jake Taylor. They have their best seasons with ourselves because we create enough good opportunities, and if you're a good enough player, then I think you'll score goals in this team. I still want more from the rest of the midfield, Archie Collins included, and the other players to come in and affect it, because goals are everything at our level. How they come still remains to be seen in terms of our ability to create but not quite penetrate enough, but we've got to keep scoring goals and keep putting that pressure on when we're on top of games, and Tim's done that fantastically well. You know, we said at the start of the season he attacks the ball in both boxes really well, not to say he's no good in between the boxes, but he attacks the ball so well in both boxes, and we missed him. Let's be honest, when he was out for December we were all talking about Sam Nombe. We really missed Tim Diang. I'm delighted that he's now fit, and Nigel being on the bench, he's just an extra physical presence in the squad.
Obviously the City fans always travel well here, did that once again, including some members of Sam's family. An excellent performance from the supporters. Yeah,
apart from the flair, let's be honest, we don't want that associated with a football club. There's no need for that. From a manager's point of view, it stems the flow of the game. We've just scored and we want the game to continue. We want to keep on playing the way we're playing it. It takes a lot of time, and it's also dangerous for the stewards in and around it, so we don't like that. We don't. It's important we nip that in the bud. There were some poor scenes, let's be honest, at the Forest Green game. That was our last away game in terms of the supporters and the words that we used towards Jordan Moore-Taylor. And then a flare on the pitch today. We are Exeter City Football Club, and that's a certain type of football fan. And there's certainly no space for poor language or a lack of respect. And I feel that's a lack of respect towards Walsall today. And the fans won't like me saying that, because we all want to show our support. You do that with your voice and your actions. You don't throw flares onto the pitch, and you don't use bad language.
2 wins in a row in the league, it puts us in an excellent position heading into the next game against Hartlepool.
Yeah, look, it was a chaotic Christmas and then lead into the new year, and it was almost as if a reset where you start from the absolute basics again in terms of our approach to that Sutton game. And despite the scoreline in that game, I could just sense an extra bit of togetherness in terms of what we've been through, and then we've just added the players and the quality and the squad strength on top of that, and there's no surprise that we've got the better players out on that pitch and we're performing better. We still want more and we'll still keep on pushing, but that's a big win, because the win at home last week took a bit of a monkey off our back in terms of the run, and then the first away win for a little while as well, and the clean sheets on top of that. So now we dust ourselves down, we enjoy this moment, like you said, in terms of celebrating with the fans in the right manner. Absolutely fantastic. There's nothing better than seeing Cheick Diabate unfortunately get booked, but celebrate with his fans coming through the academy and scoring in relation to that. But we now look to what's next, and that'll be a tough game of football next weekend.
And finally, I'm sure this is something you'll probably be able to expand on more in Thursday's press call, but with that potential injury to Zanzala, will you be having to perhaps look at
it's only just happened. Look, we're still looking to strengthen. Even before the injury, we were still looking to strengthen. We've got to assess how long he's got to be out for, how serious the injury is. First signs aren't great when you jar your knee like that and have to come off the pitch. I hope it's just a little bit of bone bruising. We've got to assess it and then act accordingly. Sam Nombe is not far away, but we can't put the pressure on him when he does come back, because he'll need an awful lot of time to get up to full speed and full 90 minutes. So we've got to understand what we are as a football club in terms of money and who's out there and who's available. So whoever comes in, hopefully will do a job for us if they come in.
Thanks a lot.